vase that I did a couple of weeks ago. I've got you guys on 2 different cameras here. And this was done with a transfer, and then this part was done with a little stamp, just with Dixie Belle paint on it. And I think I'm going to put, and then you guys, I have this cool box that I bought on sale at Michael's about a month ago probably, and I did this stencil on here with this font that I just really love. Hey Mike, would you let Bogey in his room? Thanks. And I know that that's backwards, but it says flowers on it, but I love how distressed this font is. And so when I make a stencil, it comes out all distressed like that. And the reason why I'm showing you this is because my brother made a really cool box, and he's making a bunch of them for me. And what I love about this box is that it's higher in the back and lower in the front. And I will have these up on my website for sale. It's just the box, but I'm thinking that you can do this box with so many things. I put these little terracotta pots in here, but you could do, you know, that stencil flowers on the front. I was thinking if you were using this for Christmas decorations, you could put, you know, the greenery in it and a pretty Christmas candle in the center, and then stencil on the front of this. Deck the halls would be really cool going across the front of it. Or you can just leave it plain. You can paint it, or you can just leave it plain. We picked out this rough wood to, you know, mimic the barn wood and with the knots and stuff in it, and I just really love it. So I wanted to show you guys that. And then another cute little piece that I did, and these are milk bottles that I did on a video probably a month ago. Just glass milk bottles, slick sticked them, painted them, and stenciled them. And then you can change out the floral in them with the seasons. So just wanted to show you guys those. And I went to the Dollar Tree yesterday and really scored, because they have been out of these succulents now almost all of this last year because of COVID, and they finally got some in, so I got myself a whole box of them. And I like putting them in the terracotta pots, but I'm going to do one in that new box with some of these in it, and some of the ones that I have to get at Hobby Lobby, I think they're called string of pearls that kind of dangle down. And then again, putting a really pretty candle in there would be really nice. And speaking of candles, I don't know if you guys caught me with this video. Oh, I must have taken the batteries out. It's a LED fake candle. It has wax on it, but I decoupaged this a couple of weeks ago and then put twine around the bottom of it, and it does light up and it is really pretty. I don't know why maybe I took the batteries out. I don't know what I did, you guys. So this is some of the things that I've been working on for the last couple of days. Okay, and one more thing while we're waiting for people to come on is, hi Lisa, thanks. I think the candles would be really pretty in there. And I did Christmas, I did the lemon with the buffalo check. I did all kinds of candles with the napkins about a month or so ago. So you guys, I talked about this on the last live, and this is the Galvanized Tree, and I have it up on my Facebook, and I also have it up on my website. So the tree isn't, I'm not selling the tree, so you have to go out and find your own tree. And I noticed this week that they are out there a lot. I think right now Michael's is the best price on them, and Mary had told me that she found hers at, I think it was Bed Bath & Beyond, and then she used her 20% coupon. I got mine at Michael's, and I actually had other things, so I got free shipping on it. But the class that's coming up on this is for this tree. You get it, and then I have for sale on the website a kit for $19 for your patina. And it includes 2 ounces of each of the following: 2 ounces of the copper patina, the bronze patina, 2 ounces of the sea spray, and 2 ounces of the blue patina activator and the green patina activator. And so we're going to have a class on September 18th. It's a private class. It will be a private group, and we will be patinaing these trees together. And if you can't make it for the September 18th, that's okay, because once you pay for the class, you have access to it forever, and you can watch it over and over and over again. And it's going to be really fun. We'll all be on Facebook together, but it's a private class. So run out there and get your trees, especially if you can find them on sale right now. And this is really going to be pretty. My tree is an 18-inch, but there's also a 14-inch, and I'm thinking about ordering a 14-inch just so I have like a little forest of trees going on here. And your patina kit will be more than enough to paint several trees. So get yourself signed up. It's going to be really fun.
I found some at Lowe's for $25 free shipping.
My brother says he found some at Lowe's for $25 and free shipping. So like I said, they're all over the place. Just Google galvanized Christmas tree and they'll just pop right up. So we're going to work on molds. So I'm going to turn both cameras down onto the table. I've had lots of people, and I've done this class several times, but there's still just lots of people that are needing further instruction, and the molds are really, really fun to do, and there's more than one way to do it. So we're going to work on that this afternoon. So I'm going to turn the cameras down. Bear with me. Hi, Michael Richmond. So nice to see you on here. I haven't seen you since you were a teenager. Okay, I think that looks good for Instagram, and let me get Facebook down. And you guys, if you have already started asking questions, I will go back and answer them. Let me see if that's good for, yep, that's good for the Facebook people. Okay, so one of the ways I like to use Paperclay is, I'm going to show you guys, this is the Paperclay. And I know it's backwards, but it's called Creative Paperclay. And I do have it on my website for sale. I've used this clay for a couple of years, and in my most honest opinion, there are other clays out there. I think this is the easiest and far superior to any of them that I've used, and I've used Paperclay a lot. When you're using the clay, you need to, once you open the package, You need to keep it tightly sealed in a Ziploc bag. And I just wet a paper towel and keep it in there, kind of like what you do with brown sugar, just so that moisture stays in the paper towel. And if you're using paper clay, I find it helpful to save all of your hotel room keys and gift cards, you know, this kind of thing. I have a stack of them and I pass them out during class so that people can use them. And I'll show you what I do with them. First off, I want to show you guys, because this was an experiment, and about 2 hours ago, I did these bees, because the bees in paper clay are hard to do because you've got these long legs and you got antenna. And so they're tricky to do when you're using clay. And usually when I want them, I just use the resin form. But I saw somebody else do a demo of this, and they put them in there and then stuck the whole thing into their freezer, and it just falls out. That's pretty awesome. I didn't really believe that it would work, but I have legs and antenna. So that's an option if you're using paper clay. I'm gonna set this aside because I don't want to break it, because I took it out of the freezer about 10 minutes ago. And let's see how this one does. Yep, came out really nice. Now, one of the benefits of using clay over the acrylic, because I have acrylic here, I'll show you. There's benefits to both. So this is the same bee as the first one that I showed you guys. And this one I did with the casting resin that comes in the box, and it shows white on it. And this is the fast setting up one, and I'm going to demo for you. It sets up and cures in 10 minutes. That time goes by really fast, and if you're not doing really detailed designs, it works great. I don't have another bee, but I also like to do it in the clear resin, and the clear resin takes about 20 hours to set up, so you've got lots of open time and working time with it. And so we're going to do all of that today. The benefit of having paper clay is, if I was putting a design on this pot, I don't want it to stick. I'm going to set this down. I don't want it to be hard, because you can see those wings aren't conforming to the contour of the pot. But if I'm using paper clay and I haven't let it dry, then you can see I can just take those wings and bend them down and conform to the pot. And when you're doing, like using trim to go around the top of a pot, and I'm going to demonstrate that for you here shortly. So take this little bee off. Mike, would you mind getting me the wood glue, please? Okay, so I'm going to set this one aside, and I'm going to use this mold. And the design I want to put around the rim of this pot, I just want to make sure you guys are seeing everything. Okay. I think for that pot, I'm going to use this mold. And right now I'm completely out of these trim, and Prima is the wholesaler for these. They're completely out of it. I've tried to order it for several months now. It's a really popular mold. So I'm going to take some clay. I just changed my mind. I'm going to use this one in the middle here. So I'm going to take some clay and I just push it in. And I want to push it in really firmly. I did skip a step. I don't always do this, but I think it's important to show you guys. So I'm going to start over here. Like I said, once your molds are conditioned, you don't have to do this every single time, but if you're brand new to using molds, then you need to remember to do this. So I have a little baggie here that has cornstarch in it, and I just have a brush that I use for it, and I just take the cornstarch and just put a light coating of it. You don't need a lot. This will help. And when I did those bees and stuck them in the freezer, I did the same thing. I'm pretty pleased with that little tip, you guys. Just pat it out. Okay, and then we'll start all over again. So I'm gonna take that clay. How many of you guys have used a paper clay before? If you have, give me a thumbs up on it. Cool. I see a few thumbs up. I've taught a lot of classes using paper clay. It's a really cool medium. It's non-toxic. There's no chemicals in it, so your kids, you can do art projects with your kids with it. Once it dries hard. So it's flexible while it's still wet or damp. It's not really wet. And then once it dries hard, and you can paint it. And, you know, I'm always pushing the envelope, and so in teaching classes, you don't have the luxury or the time to wait for it to dry. So what I do is I would just take a hairdryer and dry it enough on the surface to have like a little crust on it, and then it would be fine for painting. I'm giving you guys all of my secrets. So I want to press it in really well, and I want to clean off all the excess. I don't want any excess. I want to be able to see the design on there. And then I've pressed it in really well, but I'm going to take my little card and I'm going to go over the surface and pull off again any excess that's still there. And you know, some came off. And it's the same thing with all of these molds. You have to, I work with a piece of Mylar. This is like the Mylar cutting boards that you cut your vegetables up on. And I always use it to unmold on. And you take your mold and just bend it. And voila! It came out super clean, super easy. If you get a piece that's sticking on you and not coming out easy, you can always use a toothpick. So I have these cards and I have toothpicks and cornstarch. And I'm going to put it on the edge of this pot. And I always use wood glue. I just keep this tight bond with the green because it's good for all of my projects. So I'm going to pick this up, support it in the palm of my hand, and just squirt out a little bit of this glue. Now that I have this in my hand, it's plugged up. It didn't get closed.
No, it's here. Yeah.
I got it.
It's not plugged.
It's plugged at the top. It's got dried glue. There.
Just seen it go. I got it.
Okay, so I'm gonna just take a little daub of it. And on the back side, I'm going to butter it up. You don't have to put a lot on. And the nice thing about this wood glue is it really bonds well, but it dries clear. Just checking to see if you guys have questions. Okay, so now I have it in my hand and I'm just going to lay it on the top of this pot, just trying to center it. And because it's clay, I can bend it around on my pot. If it was the resin, I wouldn't be able to do this. And because that glue dries clear, I can make sure that I've got it centered nicely. And it looks like I need to do one more to get it to go all the way around. So we'll quickly do one more. You guys, I just recently got new molds in from Prima about 10 days ago. I sold out of a lot of them because I had a big sale, but there's still a lot of new molds. And you guys should go take a look at them. Also, you may or may not know this, these molds are silicone molds and they are food safe. And so you can use these molds for decorating cakes and cupcakes and candies. And I'm going to show you one of the new ones in a minute that I've been wanting it for a while. And I'm going to make cookies with that one. Or I'm going to try to make cookies with it. But I think what a cool idea for decorating for like Christmas time and stuff. So like with these trims, you could make fondant with them. Use fondant, not make fondant.
So you use your ruler to see how much more you need.
I could have. It doesn't matter. I'm going to do a whole thing of it and then I'm just going to slice it off. And
That's good.
I'm pressing it in here. And then I'm going to take that card and just make sure I got all the excess off. And then I'm going to just roll it out. And you always have to bend these molds. Sometimes you have to really contort them. Some come out easier than others. And if you have one that's being finicky, just use your toothpick to help it come out. And if you remember, I did not put cornstarch on this one. So I'm going to measure what I need here. I don't want to lay this down because I don't want to smash my clay. So I'm going to measure what I need. And it almost took another whole one here. And then I'm going to cut it off right there. And then put some more glue on it. So what other ideas do you guys have that we could use these molds on? I mean, I've done them on flower pots. I've done a lot of them on paper mache, like paper mache Christmas trees, paper mache pumpkins are awesome. I've taught that class for 2 years. You could put them on frames. You can do multimedia projects with them where you've got painting and transfers and stamping. Okay, that lined up really, really nice. And I just want to press it down so it's got firm contact. Isn't that cute, you guys? I love it. And of course I'm going to paint this pot. I'm going to get a paper towel and wipe off the spot of glue or I'll be into it for sure. Okay, so as long as I'm just looking at some of my other molds, you guys. This is, I think, what I'm going to do. I'm going to glue this bee on here. I want to get him on before he starts to dry too much. I want to be careful picking him up because he's got all of his legs and antenna all nicely attached. And I'm just going to put a dollop of glue directly on him. It might be a girl. She could be a queen bee. Making sure I get the legs glued.
Might get somebody from North Dakota.
Cool. Hello, Lisa, Mickey, Joanne. Okay, so I'm going to pick a spot and I don't want it to be on either one of my joints. So this is going to be the front and I'm just going to lay this bee on. And then press down so all the antenna and legs and everything attach. Isn't that pretty?
Yes. Hello from Tennessee.
Hello, Tennessee. I was in Tennessee about 3 years ago for the first time, and I would love to come back again. All right, so I have leftover clay, and so I just want to be sure that I get it back in my bag, and I'm putting that damp paper towel back in there, kind of like brown sugar. In fact, I keep thinking that I should just order one of those brown sugar stones and keep in there with my clay. And I'm going to just put one of these clips on it. And I have another, oh, it's right here.
Please don't put that back in the fridge. It was terrible when I put it on my bread.
Yeah, you never know what you're gonna find in my refrigerator. There's some Dixie Belle mud in there because that needs to be refrigerated. Okay, you guys, I think that's all I'm going to demo on this pot. I'm gonna let all of this dry. And I'm gonna set it out of our way. Get the clay out of the way. All right, you guys, I have been dying to have this mold. And this is the bunny rabbit, and then it has the wreath and then just the bunny head on it. And I have a thing about bunnies. There's probably over 200 of them inside my house in various places. I mean, it doesn't look like you've just gone to Disneyland or anything, but I love bunnies, and they're tucked here and there. And you might think, well, why are we doing bunnies now? Because we're going into fall, the holidays. But I want to show you guys. I made these bunnies about, I was trying to figure it out, about 30 years ago I made these bunnies. And they're snow bunnies. And I think they're just the sweetest things ever. And, oh, Bogey's locked in his room. And I thought, well, I know most people are gonna think I'm crazy doing bunnies right now, but I don't think so. So this is the bunny mold. And I'm gonna demonstrate how to use the fast setting resin, which, honest to goodness, you guys, I don't like using because it sets so fast. The long setting resin, you know, I've got a lot of open time on it. And if you're doing, I've got all this clay on my hands. I'm gonna go wash my hands off real quick. Let me get this clay and glue off my fingers. Okay, so when you're using the fast setting, I have 200 pins around, but who knows where they all went. I want to show you a trick. Well, this is crazy, you guys. I cannot even find a pin. Maybe this one will work. Okay, so when you buy the casting resin, it comes with 2 cups like this. And I like to pour into a 3rd cup. And you need popsicle sticks, and it comes with one, but I use popsicle sticks every single day, so I always have plenty. And what you do, I'm using the one that has the white pieces on the front of the box. It's amazing casting resin, and it says turns white and cures in 10 minutes. And I'm not kidding, you guys. Super fast. So I have learned when I'm using this to not do complicated pieces with it, because complicated pieces take time to get it poured in all of these little crevices, and to use a toothpick and work it all in there so you get it in well. But on this mold with this bunny, I think I can do it, you guys. We'll see. So it's kind of like epoxy. You have a side A and you have a side B. And so I set them up in front of me, side A, side B, and then I have my 2 little cups. And what I do with a marker pen is you want to have the exact same amount in each one. So just to make it easier, I mark, and I usually am using like a black, I always call them stylus, and I know that's wrong, but you guys know what I mean. So I just mark the cup so I can see the line on there, my pour line, and I mark it the same on both sides. So that's a 1/2 fluid ounce. Okay, so I'm going to pour A first. And it pours out clear. And I'm going to pour up to that line where I marked it. Now I'm going to pour B. Boy, this one's really stuck. Hi, Melissa. So Bella is watching with you. That's cool. I bet she loves watching you do all your artwork. Aubrey and I do a lot together. Oh, move out of the way, Bogey. While my brother went out, he could have been a help with this. I have one of those jar opener things. There, I got it. Okay, and then I'm gonna pour the B side. Obviously, it's well shook up now. Okay, and now is the fun part, you guys. So I'm going to pour B into A. And with my little stir stick, I'm gonna stir it, and I forget how many minutes, it's not very long. And you will start to see it get like a milky white. And you do want to be sure that you get it stirred well, but you don't want to waste time. I've had this stuff set up right in my little cup. I'm not even halfway done pouring my mold and it already sets up. So you don't want to, and it starts to warm up. So I'm going to start pouring now because I can feel it warming up. And another tip, you guys, is always have enough other molds handy, so if you've got leftover, you can use it up in your other molds and it's not going to waste. So I'm just helping this get down in the toes of the bunny. And so it looks like we got it all in there, and I have some left over, so I'm gonna just try and get, I don't know if it's enough to do this bunny, but we'll try. Yep, it was. Okay, and then you just throw this stuff away, you guys. You can't use it again. And can you see it turning white? It was warm to the touch. You can feel it heating up in your cup. And that's a warning to you. When you start to feel it heating up in your cup, you know you better start working fast, because it's gonna, I've had it go solid, you guys. It's so shocking and disappointing when that happens. But on this mold, I don't want to pick it up, so I don't know if you can see really well. I'm going to move Instagram in here a little bit. In this mold, in where the leaves are, there's also little round circles for red berries in it. So again, doing something with that like this would be really, really cute for the holidays. And you could take some of the clay, the paper clay that we just did, and you could cut out those little hollies and bend them on there. You wouldn't need a mold for that. That's super easy. So, I hope that's water on, yep. Whew. I thought I might have splattered this to my iPad. That would not be good. So you guys, when I'm doing this, and I'm going to, when this sets up and we unmold it, I'm going to show you, I always have, you know, this is a whole baggie full of bees. I love bees. And it's really fun just to stick them here and there. The chest I have over there has a big sunflower on it that I set that mold out. While this one's setting up, I'm going to show you that. So you can use these for crafting, you can use them on furniture. So like this is an example of one that I did on a piece of furniture. It doesn't have blue tape, but this comes in 1, 2, 3 pieces and then the center. And trying to get it out there. And then you just glue it all together onto your furniture, and then you have 3-dimensional. I have transfers that are the sunflower transfers, and then I also have a couple of these on there. And it comes in a smaller one. I just set this down and didn't show you guys. I love sunflowers. I'm a Kansas girl, born in Kansas. I haven't lived there since I was 5 years old, but I always say you could take the girl out of Kansas, you just can't take the Kansas out of the girl. And so, you know, I have a smaller one here that you can put together. And if you don't, you know, if you've just got a corner and you don't want the whole thing, then you can just do something like this. So they're very flexible. Or if you didn't want the whole thing on there, you could just do the thing in paper clay and make it exactly how you want it. And it comes with leaves and everything. And I think, I do have some of the sunflower molds left. They were out of stock for the longest time. So when I saw them back in and ordered them, I ordered a bunch. So the sunflower one is available. So like I was saying, when you're doing these, especially when you're doing resin, the white resin, you can pretty much pour exactly what you need. When you're using the clear resin, since it takes a while to set up, I usually will pour it late afternoon, and then when I get up in the morning, I just pop them right out. And I'm going to show you how my setup and my tips for that. That was a clear one and it hit the floor. Now I don't know where it is. So I'm going to get these out of the way, but there's some really pretty ones, you guys. I love these. And they're so pretty on furniture. I did this medallion. I did on my bathroom cabinets. On the top drawer, there's a set of 4 drawers in the center. And I did this and painted it, and it's so pretty. So there's, you know, lots and lots you can do with them. So I'm going to show you my trick. I just get a cookie sheet. I'm going to scoot this over. It's not quite ready to take out yet. You can tell when it's starting to release on this one. It's starting to, it's getting there. So I'm going to put this resin away and get it out of the way. And what I do is I set out my, oh, I was looking for the sunflower mold all over, but here it is. It's a really nice mold. And so when I'm doing the long setting resin, I usually have several molds sitting out. I'm going to do that one. I'm going to do that one. This one honestly would be a really good one to do with the white because it's so big, but you would still have to work pretty fast on it. Those are some big pieces there. So I'm going to see if we can unmold these. Super cute. It's kind of there. And I could still feel the heat from the chemical reaction. And when you first, well, this is already getting very stiff. I was going to say when you first take them out, there is a little bit of flexibility to them, but it doesn't last very long. Let's see how this guy's doing. He's really cute. So if you want to do something fast and it's, you know, an easy one to pour and unmold, then that's great. I wouldn't have used it on the vining in here because there's just too many nooks and crannies for it, but I would like to use it on this one. So I'm going to see if I can. Okay. And by doing it on a cookie sheet, the reason why I do that is so that I can just, when I'm done pouring them, I can just pick up the whole thing and set it out of my way. And then it's kind of like Christmas. When you get up the next morning, you can come out and unmold all of your pretty things. It kind of reminds me of the days when I was teaching ceramics and I would load the kilns at night after class, fire them during the night, and then when I get up the next morning, it was like Christmas every time because ceramics paint is kind of, you know, it's a chemical reaction. So sometimes you don't know what you're going to get, and sometimes you get surprises. So these silicone cups, I should talk to you about these. I like to use these silicone cups when I'm using the long setup because I can mix more in these than I can with the white one. And these, the clear one, which is what this one is, it's a 2-part clear coating. And I have used this like on those trays that you see a lot of. I have like decoupaged the bottom of the tray and then mixed this up and done a pour over the top of it, and then you have a really nice food safe resin on there. Okay, so again, on these, I'm going to pour more than I did on the white. And it's the same thing. It's part A, part B. So I'm gonna pour, I've marked them off with my pens. This one's thicker. And I haven't been looking at questions, so if you guys have asked a question, I will go back and answer. So that's part A. Here's part B. And you guys, you can get your amazing resin. You can get it at Hobby Lobby, you can get it at Michael's, and you can get it on Amazon. So you pour equal parts, and even though I can't see, I can see my line, and I think I've got, yeah, those are pretty equal. And then you need a popsicle stick, and so I'm going to pour B into my extra cup. And another tip is when you've got your molds out and you're doing this, just pour up a lot, and then when they're done, I just keep them in a container, and so when I need one, I can go straight to it and pull it out. I don't have to do this process and then wait for it to set up. And this one's like glue. These popsicle sticks are usually, you know, when you're checking out at Michael's, and they have that row that you walk by with all the cheap, inexpensive impulse buys, and they usually will have boxes of these popsicle sticks, so I always just pick them up because I use them all the time. You know, your paint jars still say to shake really well, but I've just gotten in the habit of stirring, because a lot of the pigments, a lot of the products and a lot of the pigments get settled, and there's like a ring at the bottom of it, and sometimes they settle in there. So I think it's just smarter just to stir everything. Now you can see I have a much longer time that I can be stirring on this than I did on the white. And I'm gonna set that there. So the first one that I want, you guys, is this vine to go with the bunnies. And so I can just take my time, and I have a toothpick handy. And I can just pour it in, use my toothpick to make sure it goes into all of that detail. And if I was doing this with the white, it would set up on me about now. I've had it happen so many times, you guys. Okay, so talk amongst yourselves. This takes a little bit of concentration. And another tip with these molds is, like, for instance, on this vine, if you didn't need the whole thing, just pour the portion of it that you needed. You know, like if you've got a specific project for it and you know that that's going to be too big, well then just stop. You know, like if I only needed this section, I could just pour that section and then stop. I could try doing this little vine with the paper clay, but I have a feeling that it's so windy that it might actually just come apart on me. I mean, I could piece it all back together. That's one of the benefits of using the paper clay. And if you guys haven't been on my website lately, I did get a lot of the new transfers, the smaller transfers, which are really fun. The designs were just so cute. And if you're doing like crafting projects and you don't need great big giant transfers for furniture, that's a really nice alternative. So they're on the website. And if you joined us late, I was talking about the Galvanized Christmas Tree class that's coming up on September 18th, and that is a online class. And once you pay your class fee, you will have access to that class forever, or at least as long as I'm alive. So you can watch it over and over and over again. And it should be fun. I've already had a lot of people sign up for it. It'll be on Facebook, but we'll be in a private room. And you guys can you sign up for your class and order your patina kit, and that'll ship out to you. And then you have to find your tree, and they're all over the place, and they're on sale this week. I've seen them on sale all over. I've seen them on sale at Lowe's. I got mine at Michael's and used a coupon. If you just Google Galvanized Christmas Tree, you'll spot it. So see how long I can mess with this and not be like stressed out that it's gonna set up on me. That way I can make sure I get it everywhere I need it. Okay, and then I like doing the bees and the acrylic. Well, I'm gonna go do this big one up here first. And I also, you guys, normally I do another live on Wednesdays for crafting, and I will not be doing that live tomorrow. I'm gonna try and get it done on Thursday. I have a really cool project, and the reason is that my brother is here staying with me, and he is under treatment at Mayo Clinic, and he has some special tests scheduled tomorrow, and his visits to the Mayo take priority over everything else. So I try to keep a good schedule so it's not confusing, but this week it will be a different day. And I also wanted to tell you guys, I live in Surprise, Arizona, and I was at my local Dollar Tree yesterday, and they had just gotten in a shipment of their fall stuff, Halloween, but I don't do Halloween per se. I love fall and I love pumpkins and all of that kind of stuff, so that's kind of where my focus is. But they had some super cute stuff in there yesterday, and she said they had another truck coming in Friday, and it would be out on Saturday, so I will be back on Saturday. And so you guys want to keep in mind when you're mixing this up, you want to mix enough to get your project done, but you always want to have extra molds handy because you don't want to waste this. And again, you guys, keep in mind that you can use these molds to make soap. You can use them to decorate cakes and candies. I've shown you 3 different products that you can use. And another advantage to using these silicone cups is it's super easy cleanup, because when it sets up in this cup, I can just peel it out. I don't have to clean up or wash anything. Well, that's the big one. The small ones, I do have to use I think it's mineral spirits that I use to clean it out, because that's part A, part B, and they haven't set up. This one was a tricky pour. Don't go to sleep on me. What's left? I could do a couple of bees. This is definitely when a toothpick comes in handy. Get all those antennae and little legs. There's another bee over here. Some of these, like the trim that I showed you that we did around the pot, that's really good to use. You know, decorating books is really popular, and that works really nice on the books. Sticking these crowns and bees on books are really cool. That's why it's nice just to have a bunch of them all ready to go. Like my granddaughter was over here a few weeks ago and she saw some bees sitting here on the table, and she walks over to the sunflower chest. She goes, "Grammy, you need to put a bee on here." I thought, well, you know, you're right. That would be really cute. Gonna do this wreath over here. I could have mixed up a smaller batch for demo purposes, but at least you can see why it's important to have plenty of molds ready. And not let your product go to waste. Okay, so I guess I could do the bunny. That might use up what I have left. But you guys saw how fast that white set up. I could have never done all of this using the white. Okay, that's it. So what I normally do is just pick this up and set it aside, and then in the morning I can just unmold them, and it's super fun. So let me see, you guys. Evangeline, you're so welcome. I'm happy to share my tips because, you know, I love what I do. I feel so fortunate to get to do this every week with you guys. I'm gonna change the camera so I can look at you and talk. Give me one sec. bring it back up. Okay. All right, I got both cameras back up again. So let me see if I can see any questions that I can answer for you real quick. Peggy, you got your order today. Love the molds you ordered and your transfer too. Thank you so much. I'm glad you got it today, and getting your molds today and getting a class on molds. How perfect is that, Peggy? I do try to ship out as fast as possible, you guys. Hey, Goldie. Carly, you've used the molds? Secrets come from, Lisa says, secrets come from people who have learned to wing it. Well, you know what? A quick story. I've done art, honestly, for most of my life. And when I got into making lampwork glass beads, that is such a secret society, and those mostly women were so secretive about their colors and their formulas and their techniques, like they had invented, you know, lampwork beads. And it was shocking to me in the beginning that they were so secretive about everything like that, and it was disturbing. It really did disturb me, but it left me, I just want to say it left me scarred, because now when I see somebody doing something, a technique or something, and I'm interested and I want to ask questions, I'm always really hesitant to ask questions because of that experience for all of those years in the lampwork group. So it's an honor and a privilege to be able to share the techniques I know, and I think it's awesome. Joanne, you love your molds too. I think it's awesome that you guys can share with each other. Jerry, if it goes, you asked if it goes outside the lines of the mold. Sometimes I got some on the little edges, and just take an X-Acto knife and just cut that part off. It's no big deal. I try to be as careful as I can so that there isn't a lot of cleanup, but if that happens, it's no big deal. Melissa, did Bella love the bunnies? Well, Melissa, you better get the sunflower mold soon. They were out of stock for the longest time. Tina asked, what material do you recommend on furniture? It doesn't matter. The clay will dry really hard and you can paint on top of it, so that works. Or either one of these resins will work. It doesn't really matter. It's just, I think what matters most is how you want to use it on your furniture. If you're putting it on flat, then the acrylics work. If you've got curves and stuff that you need to mold it to, then you need to use the Paperclay. And so I've shown you 3 different ways. Hi, Beverly. Melissa, how will I paint them? I'm not sure what item. Oh, my daughter Shauna's on here. Nice. Okay, You guys, I don't see any more questions, but thank you again so much for watching and hanging out with me. And if you do have questions, just pop them on there and I'll be happy to answer them for you. And you guys get signed up for your galvanized Christmas tree, your patina tree. That's going to be so pretty and it's going to be really fun. So Tina, you think you need the bees and the sunflowers. I agree. We all need bees and sunflowers. Okay, you guys, thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions, just pop them on here and I'll be happy to answer them. And then watch for another event on Facebook to come up, and I'll let you know what day we're going to do crafting this week. And I have a really fun project, so I hope to see you guys again soon. You guys have a good night. Bye.